So basically, this is the reason I started doing what I do, is that I learned that I absolutely love to help other people accomplish their goals. And so as that's where this all came from. And so I'm so excited to share some ideas with you that I hope will in turn help you help others accomplish their goals. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I have a couple stories to share with you to get started. This is also where my real true love of goals was fostered also. So I was working with a business trainer and we only met every 30 days and it was just on a 1 hour phone call. So you couldn't see people's faces and it wasn't as often. And she gave us the challenge. Good morning. She gave us the challenge to set our goals. And I remember it was like, I don't know, 2 days before our next call. So it had been, 28 days. And she gave us the challenge to write our goals down and post them. And that's all it was. There wasn't a lot of direction with how to write them or what to put down or what kind of goals to set. Just put down our goals and post them. That's what she told us to do. And I remember thinking, but my main goal was to build my team. I wanted to have a bigger team. And I fought mentally in my head over and over again. I'm like, but how do I force others to then do things that would then grow my team? Because it had to be more people than just me working on it. But, you can't take away people's free agency or put a gun to their head and make them do things. And so I mentally fought with this, trying to figure out how do you do this. And I thought, well, I paid her a bunch of money to tell me what to do, so I guess I'll do this activity. So I put down my goals, and I had goals on there that had to do with building my team. And I typed it all up, printed it out, stuck it on my mirror. And this was late one night, and got up the next morning to get some stuff done, get on my email. This was before smartphones. You actually had to turn on your computer to check your email versus just look at your phone in bed if you're anything like me. And I'm looking at my emails, and there's an email from a gal, and it says, "Hi, Michelle. I'm a daughter of so and so, who was one of my direct recruits. We called it first downline, second downline, third downline. I know you all have different names for things. And one of my goals was to build my second and third lines. And she says, I'm a daughter of so and so, and she's just kind of a hobbyist and just does it for fun and just likes the product. But I lived in North Dakota, and this gal was in California. She goes, I'm in California and I really want to make this a business. And I know my mom, I want to sign up under her, but I know she won't be a ton of help to me. I want to make sure that you'll help me grow my business." I mean, this wasn't even 12 hours after putting those goals down. And I remember going, wow, this goal started happening as soon as I wrote it down. And I think the thing to realize is a couple things. That one, the law of attraction or God helping us or whatever it is, that is the first step in anything we're going to do, that we have to write down what we want. And I hope that you'll just hang on to that with every ounce of your soul, because I know all of you have different reasons and have different desires. But if I understand correctly, each of you have a desire to build a team, to both strengthen the members that you have and to add more members to the group. Good morning. We have someone else who just joined us. If you just joined us, if you'll either, who's, come on, just so I know who I'm talking to.
Jim Swanner.
Good morning, Jim. And so it's an amazing gift to give yourself to really believe that your team can grow, and simply write those things down and hang on to them for dear life, and let God and the universe help you find those people. So the very, very first action I strongly believe in is that you've got to set your goals and write them very clearly on what you want to have happen. How many people do you want? In what lines? The other thing that I've thought a lot about is I've talked to different people, and even thinking about the different people that I recruited. There's a couple other things that you need to add. You need to add a lot of detail on the kind of people that you want to recruit. Because we all know we can find people who are excited enough about our products to just get excited and buy them for themselves, and maybe tell another couple of people, so at least they get a discount on their product. That's not too hard to do. You each are in places where you've brought on enough people that you can kind of do that in your sleep, probably. And that's pretty easy. That gets easy to do after, when you're doing consistent business. It's finding people who then have similar goals to what you have. That can be a whole nother ballgame. And so you've got to put down the kind of people that you want to meet and allow yourself to kind of think outside the box as to how you're going to find those people. So it might be people with certain personalities, certain talents, certain desires, maybe kind of age groups or people in certain demographics. Be specific about what you want to find. Okay. I'm telling you, if you'll do this, it will make a huge difference to your business. I know it sounds like, but Michelle, give me skills on how to find those people. We'll definitely get to that. The first thing you have to do is define who you want to find, because it just gives you a lot of fuel. So I want to talk to you just about a couple ideas and ways that I have created visual aids and created goals for specifically recruiting and for building a team. So hopefully that's why you're all here, is about building a team, because that's what we're going to talk about over and over again for the next couple weeks. So there's a couple things that I've used. And now the first thing, though, that you have to reflect on, if you recalled, we've gone over and over these three questions. The ones with, do you like to work alone or in a group? Do you like variety or consistency? And the main one that you have to focus on here, in my opinion, is, are you a person who wants to change the world, or are you a person who likes titles and money? Which one of those things is your top priority? And you may have some of both, which is totally okay. Usually one trumps the other one just a little bit. And whichever one it is, you have to be really careful and make sure you set your goals based on that motivational style. Okay? If you're a change the world person, you need to be sure and talk about how many people's lives you want to impact, how many people's lives you want to change, how you want to make the world a better place, all those kind of things. Make sure that you're talking about what it is, how you want to change things. Now, if you're a titles and money person, then you're going to talk about that new title you're going to get. You're going to talk about how much money you're going to earn because of it. But set your goals based on your personal motivational style. That's really, really, really important to understand and fight for, okay? You've got to remember that, because it's so easy. Each of you are with companies that most of them are really good. They're getting really good at understanding. I don't know if they totally understand it on paper or they're just kind of seeing it. A lot of them will have ways that they're impacting the world with their company and doing service or having a way that a certain amount of the money goes to another, like some sort of nonprofit type thing and betters the world. And then they're also very good at dangling carrots in front of you and going, okay, get to this level, you'll be making this much more money. Get to this level, whether it's a cruise or a car, there's all sorts of different perks that they give you. And it's fun and it feels really good to hit those levels and to be recognized. But it depends on which kind of person you are. If you're a person who's more so change the world and you've tried to focus on those titles, like you see one of your teammates doing, but that's not your gut reason for doing it, you'll get kind of resentful and you won't want to do it, okay? Whereas if you are a titles and money person and you try to focus on that nonprofit thing that your company works on, but you really just want to make money and you want to see how your family is impacted by it more so than somebody else, then you got to focus on that. Neither of them make you a good or bad person, selfish or not selfish. It's just, whose life are you changing more, yourself and your families or outside sources? What matters more to you? So you've got to internalize that, really recognize that about yourself, and then set your goal according to that. Set it as a title, set it as how much money you want to make, or set it on, I want to help this many people start businesses and change their lives in this way. You can do both. If you're someone that really can't figure out which you are, you're kind of a 50-50, then I'm going to accomplish this title by helping this many people. Okay? Are there any questions on that? Okay, great. So the next part is then creating some sort of visual aid. And there's several different things I've seen done. So one example, there was this gal that was a business trainer that I heard speak, and I actually would do it just a little bit different. You've always heard me speak about you need to focus on what you want. And this gal, it was pretty funny. She had her calendar that whenever she was booking parties and that kind of stuff, she opened her calendar, and in her calendar, she had paper clipped a picture of her husband standing in a kiddie pool. And her goal was that they did a big underground pool in their backyard. So she had this funny picture of her husband standing in a kiddie pool because that wasn't exactly working for their family. Now, I would personally find a pool I like, throw my family in it, take a picture and say, okay, this is what I want in my backyard. I would prefer to visualize what I want to have happen versus what I don't have. Or even, quite frankly, the way technology is, you can find a picture online, you could even Photoshop your family in the pool, okay? So that's how I would do it. That's how I would recommend doing it, but it worked for her. So whatever it is, find a picture of that thing you want. It could be, and see, this is where it comes in, okay? I had a gal I was talking to the other day, and it was really fun to talk to her. And really, she's like, it's not like I need a ton of money. I believe in what I do. I like my product. But I heard this gal speak, and she sends a ton of money over and builds these schools in Africa. And I want to do something like that, okay? So obviously, this gal, she would be putting pictures on her board or in her calendar or wherever it helps you remember what you want to do. She would be putting pictures of that nonprofit thing that she wanted to support, okay? Whereas somebody else has goals, maybe to have a different financial status. I know Janae, for example. Oh, this is okay. So Janae, she has this cruise that she wants to go on, and it's not just to earn a title, it's because she has 7 kids, and it's 1 week just with her husband. And that's really important to her. And so the fact that she's fostered, that to me would be a change the world kind of thing. Because her world has to do with her husband and keeping that relationship solid when life is crazy and she has 7 kids she's chasing, okay? So obviously her picture in her mind is that cruise, and that actually is not even the cruise, is that time with her husband, okay? That's much more what it's about. Oh, look, there's her picture. I can't see the picture. Yeah, mute yourself, Janae. Oh, cool.
This is my calendar book.
Oh, sweet.
Every time I open it, that's there.
Oh, cool. I love it. Good job, Janae. Okay, awesome. Where's the cruise at?
Eastern Caribbean.
Oh, fun. Very fun. Of course, I don't think you care where it is.
No, exactly.
It's with her husband. It could be in Timbuktu. Just send me away and pay for it. So that's why if you saw it, it doesn't show on there where the cruise is. It just shows it's a boat. That's what's important to her. So that's the thing. It's so easy for people in direct sales when your companies are very good at giving incentives. It's really easy to get sidetracked by their incentives. And if that isn't your personality, it just depends on if it's your personality or not. You've got to stay focused on what's important to you. And don't let your company's incentives or titles or those kind of things get you off track if that isn't what motivates you. You have to really dig deep, and you'll kind of think, oh, but I see so-and-so doing that and that looks fun. But you start working on it and focusing on that, and you realize that isn't the thing that is most important to you. Okay, so hang on to that. So the picture, the other thing that I do, and I can send you this fun chart I have. Actually, I have a picture of it right here. This one's not colored in right now. I use, can you see this? It has a bunch of circles on it. Okay, these top circles up here, what I do is I fill in, that's actually my networking goals. Okay, so it may be someplace I'm speaking, it may be someplace that I'm going to do a team meeting for someone. I have lots of little networking goals up there. And then the bottom ones, I'll actually highlight in different colors based on the different types of students or clients that I'm looking for, whether it's a youth client or I do a group of women or families, or you guys are my sales clients. And then I'll color code it on my goals on how many I want to find. Now, the reason I do circles is because I envision somebody's face being more of a circle than a square. Obviously, none of our heads are actually perfectly round, but it helps me think of the people that I'm impacting, because I am more of a change the world kind of person. And so when I think about the people that I'm going to meet, the people that I'm going to impact, that helps me when I'm setting my goals. So if you'd like this little chart thing that I have, you're welcome to shoot me an email or a text, and I'll send that to you. But it really helps me to focus on who I'm going to help. And my internal prayer and my internal thing that I say to myself is, I always ask God, who is it that needs my help today? And I say that over and over again. Who is it that needs my help today? And who is it that needs this message? And that really, really helps me in different areas. Good morning. All right. So let's see. Let me get back to my notes here. Okay. The other thing that helps some people is a chart of the amount of income they earned. Like I said, this all comes down to figuring out what your motivational style is. I've seen so many people get discouraged, get burned out, get sidetracked because they're not focusing on their personal goals. So if you are, darn it, I have to see that there's dollars coming in. I have to see that I've actually made money at this. Then you need a chart like this, okay? And this goes along with our tracker. So if you haven't used this yet, you track the amount of money that you're making versus the amount of effort that you're putting in, and you put these side by side, and you can see if they're matching, if this is working, if you need to do something different, okay? So this is a really fun way to also track what you do. I just keep having people pop in. Good morning. Oh, there's Jim. Okay, so you guys are coming in on phone and on video, so I can see you. Okay, all right. So let's see. So one of the things that's really good to do is also to take some time and think about the goals of your team members. So you've probably done this in the past, but when you're thinking about, let's say you wanted to grow your team by 10 that month, and you have 3 that want to grow by 2, and you have to okay, how am I going to make up that extra 4? Take into consideration your team's goals. Put those down on your board too, so that that's a part of your kind of internal visualization, is them accomplishing their goals too. And have them do the same thing. Make sure that they're focused on their reasons to build their teams, because those things will help a lot. Teaching your teams all these same skills makes a huge difference. Okay. So one of the things that's really important to do that sometimes I'll see people maybe start out their month working on these things, and then we kind of get on auto mode or putting out fires mode, and then we don't get quite as intentional about it. So one of the things you want to do is really break down your goal. Based on the number of people that you want to grow your team, like Chrissy, do you mind throwing me out a number? In the month of July, do you have a goal of how many you want to build your team by?
It was 10, second line.
10 on your second
Yeah.
line?
Hmm.
So your first team recruiting people, right?
I do recruit frontline. So that goal was 5. For some of my team members, I was just focused mostly on helping them build this month.
Okay, so you're going to help your team members bring in a total of 10 people. You don't recruit people and put them under your team members?
No, we all do our own recruiting, but I help close.
Okay, yeah, and that's the perfect way to do it as a team leader. Yeah, they find people and then you do a 3-way call or 3-way sit down and have coffee or, yeah, perfect. Some other companies, I know doTERRA, they'll bring in people and stick them under different people. And so it's not, it's different companies do different things. So one of the things, based on how many people that you need to break it down in things like the number of interviews that need to be done, because we all know we're not going to close 100%, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. I wish I could tell you I have a magic pill that would help you, sign up 100% of people you talk to. It's no big deal. And when you do it with a lot of questions and show a lot of care for people, sometimes they come back. Sometimes it's just not now is actually their answer when you sit down and talk to them. And you can see that they really need your help or really want the product. And it's okay if you leave it really nice and peaceful and not trying to convince them or quote unquote overcome their concerns, which is something I don't believe in doing. It really makes a huge difference. Okay. So the number of interviews. So if you feel like you can convert 50% and you want 10, so you'd want your team having 20 interviews to convert 10, right? Those kind of things. How many new contacts do you need to make that month? How many referrals? If you haven't started implementing the referral program, that's an awesome, awesome tool to use to find people, especially when you're trying to get out of your circle of influence. Referrals is a great way to do that. You can break it down to how many phone calls, and then even how many hours of your work time needs to be focused on that, okay? And when you're a team leader, you might be doing more like 60 to 80% of your time might be more on recruiting or supporting your team to help them recruit. It just depends on where you're at in your business. And then and then you have to decide also which are your specific team members you're going to spend more time with. That's a really important key. And the thing that you've got to hang on to and remember is that you need to work with the people who are doing, they usually say that 20% of your people do 80% of your sales, or 80% of the, what's the word? Anyway, do 80% of your sales. So you need to spend the time with those people, okay? And it's easy to end up spending time with people who are kind of making the most noise, okay? People that are making the most noise aren't necessarily the ones that are making you the most money. So you have to really, and it's not that you blow those people off at all. It's great to have them at team meetings or team phone calls or those kind of things where you're training several people at once. They might as well be on that too. If they're not applying those things, that's not who you spend your time calling and following up with. Okay, you call and follow up real quick. If they're not doing their stuff, okay, let me know how it goes. You give them another challenge. I'll follow up with you with a text in 48 hours. Let me know how it's going. If they still don't do it, give them another challenge. Don't spend your time on the phone talking to them or a lot of individual time until they have moved forward and taken on some of those challenges and actually done business. I mean, people who actually do business, there's people who talk about doing business. That's not always the same person, okay? Focus on the people that are doing something and help them to maximize and tweak how they're doing it, okay? So I want you to, put down, if you have a piece of paper there, put down how much you want to grow in July. How much do you want your team to expand? And because I believe in being specific, most people get, yeah? Did somebody ask a question? Okay. Most people get paid on usually about 3 lines. If you want to go deeper than that, if you want to do it a little bit different, whatever you want to do. But put goals down on how many you want to grow in your first line, your second line, and your third line. I don't care if there's zeros in there, whatever you want to do. But be specific. How many do you want to grow in each one of those lines? And each of you will have totally different goals based on how you get paid, based on what your team members' goals are, based on your goals, okay? Put down how many you want to have in each of those different lines. Okay, based on that, I want you to think about, you probably have a handful of people in the back of your head that you want to talk to. Either you've already talked to about recruiting and the deal isn't closed. You may have several that you haven't started talking to yet, but you know you'd like to. And then you probably know there's a couple new contacts that you need to make in July. So put down some numbers there, okay? These are people that I want to close. These are people that I want to approach and actually sit down and talk to about it. And then these are how many new contacts I need to make or help my team members make to make that happen. Do you kind of have some numbers in that, Chrissy?
Yeah. Would you repeat the very last thing you just said?
Let me think what it was. I think it might have, I'll just repeat the whole thing because I'm not sure. So make sure that, okay, based on your first, second, and third lines, that you have different goals in, how many you want to bring in on each of those lines. Then put down, who do you already know that is sitting on the fence that you want to close a deal with? Who in that do you have thought about talking about the business opportunity but haven't? And then the last one is, how many new contacts do you feel like you need based on the goals you have? So you kind of have 3 different groups of people that you're going to work with. You're going to work with those that we're going to get off the fence that you've already talked to about it. You have those that you're like, you know what, they could use this opportunity, and you already know them and you just haven't talked to them about it yet. And then you have the group of how many new contacts. Okay, now there's different ways you're going to do this. You're going to have some people that you can talk to on the phone, and that's all you need to do. Some people you need to have a face-to-face. Some people need to be invited to an event, right? There's lots of different ways to do this. And then your group where new people you need to find, you need to decide, do you want to find those via referrals? Do you want to find those because you're getting new contacts as you're out and about at, doctor's office and Fred Meyer and, Target and the park and, your circle of influence, okay? How do you want to find those new members? Break these goals down so then you have a specific plan of what you're going to do. Now, then we'll talk about your weekly and daily planning and how you're going to plug those in. So if you have those goals written down, let me know.
I put that I have 5 new frontline, 10 second level, and then 4 in my 4th level.
Awesome.
I know that I have a few people on the fence that I need to talk with. I have a few people that are going to sign up later on in July that have already confirmed that. One gal who's already started mostly for products that wants to, I would like her to get going to build a business because I think she would be phenomenal.
Right.
So, and she expressed interest with that this last time that we spoke too. So just a few things to wrap up, I guess.
Awesome. Perfect. You have beautiful goals down. That's very specific, very clear. Awesome. Now, how many new contacts do you feel like you need to make?
Let's see. That's something that I'm just starting to think about and focus on. So in terms of specifics, I don't have it written down. But I want to there's a few things I'm working on. There's an area not far from here that I want to develop and build. So I've been doing advertising specifically in that area. And then there's just continuing on with the local stuff that I want to accomplish.
Cool.
But I'm also advertising in that area quite a bit. So I am a fan of the face-to-face advertising. I feel like it's more effective.
Yeah.
So, especially locally. So, I don't know, getting out there and getting into the community, I just opened up my schedule to allow me to do that 4 days of the week as opposed to, one.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that'll really help, and I'm excited about that.
Excellent. So, Chrissy, let me give
I haven't gotten the numbers.
Yeah. Just to give you the tiniest hint, I know this sounds silly and like it really can't be that important, but if you'll use, whether it's something with the circles or, something like this, or you just take an Excel sheet and you number 1 through 20, that you want to meet 20 new people. If you'll pick a number and keep that in the back of your head, you will really be surprised to see how there'll be like these weird things that will happen that will give you this opportunity to meet people in a different way. It's really weird to see it happen. But and the thing is, just pick any number you want for July and just give it a try. Okay. And this is why, like, just pick a number, and then at the end of the month, you see how close or how much you exceeded or you hit it right on, whatever your goals are. You then have a better idea of what your closing rate is and how many people you really do have to meet to accomplish your goals. Do you see what I'm saying? Like having kind of a system to give yourself to then look and see, okay, based on the amount of work I did that get me to where I need to do? Do I need to work differently, or do I not need to work as hard? But put the goal down, one, just because it helps the universe and God know exactly what you want. But the other one is you can reflect at the end of the month and figure out if you did the work, the amount that you needed to get to your goal. And you may find out that I'm just throwing out a number, 20 new contacts was more than you needed. And maybe you can have a little more free time to still accomplish your goals, and you only needed 15 contacts. Or maybe you have a couple extra contacts going into August or something like that. But the more that you can track exactly what how much work it took to get to the goal that you wanted, the more you'll be able to set specific goals next month, and you can balance that family time with your work time. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Do you want to send over the 2 trackers, the one you just showed me with the bubbles, and then the financial one too?
Yep, will do. Okay, so Jordan, you may be chasing kids. If you can unmute yourself if you're not chasing kids, I want to hear how you're doing with this information. If you're chasing kids, it's totally okay.
No, it's going good. Right now I'm kind of the same as a few of the other ladies, and just I'm really wanting to build my builders, and so I really just want to build my 3rd and 4th line more, and just get them going.
So how are these tools working for you mentally? Like, which ones of them do you see yourself using? What's most helpful so far?
I really use the vision board and the goals a lot more, and so I probably need to focus more on especially the tracker and how much time I'm putting in. That one would be good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have written down before today, did you have specifics written down of exactly how many you want in each area by a certain time period?
I did last month. I wrote that I wanted each of my builders to be working and find their main 3 builders and really focusing on them. But I'm going to make that a really big goal for this month.
Excellent. So did they get partway there?
Yes.
Awesome. Fantastic. Okay, cool. All right. So yeah, make whatever the goal is. I know you have specific goals with regards to your family. If I remember right, when we talked about goals when I first met you, that it's very based around the kind of lifestyle you want for your family. Is that still kind of where you're at? Is that still
Yes.
your biggest why? Okay. So make sure that's clear. Like you can put, okay, so here's a silly example. I don't know that this has anything to do with you, but if like a car was your goal and you knew how many that you needed to add to your team, like I would put, I'd have a picture of a car and put 20 on the door of the car or something. Do you know what I mean? Connect the effort with the end result. The more you can connect those, that's why we have these trackers, that's why we do these things, is you want to connect that effort with the end result as much as you can. You know what I mean? So when you're working on that effort and you're like, oh dang, I'm sick of working on this effort. You're like, oh, but this is why I'm working on it. And you keep going back to that end result of what you want.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. You're doing fantastic. I'm so excited for you, Jordan. That's amazing. So Jim, do you have any questions or thoughts on what we've talked about so far?
No, not really, Michelle. I think I'm good with what I'm gathering here.
Okay.
Our goals are, we're helping other people set their goals. I mean, we're at the point where other people got to do some work, and besides just us.
Okay. Sounds great. All right. So let's see here. Okay. So make sure that you continue to break that down with the number of interviews and contacts. Now, we've talked in the past, if you recall, about weekly planning. So one of the things you want to do is make sure you have specific blocks of time put in your calendar for phone calls, for finding, for interviews. And when you're calling people and trying to set up appointments, try to control your calendar so that you're not, it's real easy to feel kind of off balanced and like, dang, I needed to spend more time with my family, or I shouldn't have missed the soccer game, or whatever it might be, that you're keeping those things in balance. So pick the blocks of time that you want to work, because then you can also relax more in the times that are your down times or your family times or your clean your house times or whatever it is, because obviously none of us spend 24/7 working our business. And so the more specific that you have things put together, you really will be surprised. You'll be able to get a lot more done. Be deliberate about it, but then have your down times or your off work times. Not necessarily downtime. Usually we're just working hard on something else, but that's our relationships and those kind of things. So get really specific about how you're going to do that. And I love, Chrissy, how you're managing to be able to break away and get out a little more and not just be, I know that your club there is so much fun and there's a lot of positive things that happen, but unless they're coming in, you don't have much control over things. When they come in, you're like fantastic, but it's a matter of getting them there. So I'm excited to see that you're going to finding ways to get out and be able to invite more people in. So I think that will be awesome. I'm excited to hear how that works for you. Okay, so the last thing that I want to talk about, I don't know if any of you have ever thought this or felt like this, but I remember thinking, like, I wanted to grow my team really big in the hundreds. And I remember thinking, but if I have that many people, can I really manage that many people? Have any of you ever had that thought or that concern? But if I grow my team this big, how am I going to manage all this? Anybody ever had that thought? Yeah, Chrissy? Does that ever concern you, Jordan, at all?
Yes, big time. That's my concern right now. Is I'm really building my builders, so I'm just needing them to, help figuring out how to get them to do the more work. So I'm not just doing everything for them.
Right. Let me shut my office door. I have people getting up. Hang on. Okay, so let me tell you the little aha moment when I was thinking about building my team and I wanted this to grow really big into the hundreds and being concerned if I had that many people, what was I even going to do with them all? And I remember thinking about this and worrying about this, and because I didn't really dare put down the goal, because if it, quite frankly, you know, when you start to believe that what you put down is what you get, you're kind of like, but what if I do get it? And then how am I going to deal with all that? And I thought and I thought and I thought about that. And all of a sudden, this realization came to me that if I was blessed, and I think all of you have somewhat of a belief in God, if I was blessed with that many people, if God gave me that many people to help, that somehow He'd give me a way to manage it all. And I know it sounds like, well, Michelle, how did you manage it all? And I'll continue to share ideas on that. But one of the things that you have to do, because each of your businesses work a little bit different, some of them are more hands-on, some of them are more you can use the phone, some of them you have team meetings, you have lots of different ways you do things. For me, just because things changed a lot, I had a newsletter. I got very, very consistent about a newsletter to my team. Every Monday, there was a newsletter that went out. I gave kudos to people. Good morning, baby boy. Kudos to people, new information that was going on in the company, new products, you know, all sorts of information. Every Monday I had this newsletter that went out. Now this is, you know, before texting. This was, you know, this was about, see, my daughter's 12, so it was about 12 years ago, okay? So we have different tools now. One of the things you just have to do is put enough faith in, put down that goal of how many you want, take a deep breath, and realize that you're going to find creative ways to manage all those people. If you're someone like, we have 4 children, and I'm telling you, you kind of wonder, when you have 2, how can I manage a third one? And when you have 3, how can I manage a fourth one? and somehow you do it and you figure things out. It's going to be the same way with team members. So one of the activities that we did in our class in the 90-day challenge is a brainstorming activity. We put down, this is my challenge, and based on the challenge, how many people, or how am I going to accomplish this goal? So you're going to brainstorm, okay? You're going to learn from other people, and you're going to take their idea and you're going to tweak it. You're going to come up with an idea that's all your own. You're going to figure out new forms of technology, from the fact that, like, I have a phone now that I can schedule text. We have Zoom. You're going to figure ways out, okay? You're also going to learn to delegate them to tools that your company already has, get them to watch videos, and then follow up with them. The one thing that I have to say is the biggest thing that you can do for people that's more important than anything is that you give them very short-term challenges and follow up in 24 or 48 hours. I can't emphasize this enough. When we wait 7 days, 30 days, or however long it is that we go in between talking to people, if you give them a small challenge, ask them on a scale of 1 to 10 how comfortable they are with doing that challenge, whether it's calling and talking to their sister about showing them oils, or it's calling and talking to their neighbors about coming and having a shake, or it's preparing, you know, planning a whole class and inviting 10 people, or it's talking to that one person about, you know, recruiting. It doesn't matter what the challenge is, okay? Some of them you're going to give a big challenge. Some of them it's going to be small, talk to one person. But whatever it is, when they're excited about doing it, whether you're getting off the phone or you're talking to them face to face, ask them on a scale of 1 to 10 how comfortable they are doing it. If it's 5 or under, you have to realize they're probably not going to do it, and you've got to pick a different challenge, okay? If their fear level is that high and their excitement level isn't offsetting it, they're probably not going to do it. If it's 6 or above, they're probably going to do it. Follow up with them in 24 or 48 hours. The other thing you can do to make sure that you don't create a failing experience is ask them, when in this next 24 to 48 hours do you have time to do this? Okay. If they're planning family reunions and there's swim lessons and there's a doctor's appointment and their mom's coming for dinner, and okay, there's literally not the, 30 minutes in that schedule to do that activity, then say, okay, when will you have time to do that? Okay, well then I'll follow up in 3 days from now. Set them up for 100% success. okay? The more that you get them on a nice little schedule, and it sounds like they're depending on you too much, but they're not. You're getting them to create those habits that they need, okay? This is the whole key to this. They don't check in at like they do at Walmart with a time card, and if they don't, they get fired, okay? Basically, they fire themselves because they didn't work, okay? They know there's nobody that's going to, you can't even fire them really, okay? And so that's the thing. They have to create these habits that punching a time clock and the fear of getting fired, we got to help them set those habits, but in more of a positive way, that look what you're getting from this and help them get perks in their business really quickly so that then they get those habits and they're doing it on their own faster. Then they were excited. We don't know why they did a few things and then died off, and now we can't get them restarted, okay? 24 to 48 hour little goals and little challenges. That will make a huge difference. And I know it's hard because it's a habit we have to make too. So you're creating a new habit as a team leader. But find out what they can do, find out how comfortable they are on a scale of 1 to 10, follow up in 24 to 48 hours, and then keep doing that, and you will see amazing things happen. So pick a handful. You can do that with about 5 people at a time. And that's about all you're bringing in, every 2 weeks, you're bringing in, a handful of people. Do those kind of things and see what happens. And when they're not doing it, you've gone 14 days and they just signed up and they didn't do a single one of those challenges, then give them an assignment, have them go look at a video online. Don't take up your time. Don't get on the phone with them again. Just text them, okay? Someone who is doing their assignments, get on the phone, celebrate with them, give them a new assignment, move on. It's really, you'll see amazing things happen. And we worry that we're being pushy, but you're not. They need your support to make those habits, okay? They want to vent with you and they want to celebrate with you, okay? And so all those kind of things will help, okay? So we have just 5 minutes left. Any questions there about what we've talked about? Now, I see you shaking your head a lot with those ideas, Jordan. How do those feel with the idea of that little 3-step commitment pattern? Good? Okay. All right. Any questions for anybody? Any thoughts? What new sparks of inspiration have you got that you're going to give this a try in the next week?
Michelle, this is.
Go ahead, Jim.
It's interesting what you said about having people rate their enthusiasm. And one of the things I struggle with is, you recruit people who want to who want to build a business or something, and then, the fear sets in, and, you nurture them through all this stuff, and they run through their warm market, their friends and families, and then they just hit a wall, and that's where I see the breakdown is what happens when the people that you're mentoring hit their wall. What next from there?
So, to be quite honest, you go back to square one. You go back to setting goals that, hey, I want to meet 5 new people this week. And then you give them tools. I have a lot of tools on learning how to ask questions. On my YouTube channel, I have a whole, I think you might have been on that call, but I can't remember, on how to meet new people. And you've got to go back to square one and help them. And the thing is, one of the things you do, Jim, if you take my 90-day class, you'll learn a lot about asking questions, and we can help people, one, go through the warm market by asking questions better and not just talk at them, because that's kind of a US way of doing things. We talk at people and tell them about this product, and we call it sharing, but we really need to find out what their needs are and then tell them what we have. I mean, for example, you do the oils and you have 70 plus oils, and you can't possibly know which one to tell somebody about until you know a little bit about them. So helping people ask good questions. So as they're going through their warm market, first of all, now I know that kind of doesn't fix things if they've already been through the warm market, but if they have, then that's where we need to give them really good tools at meeting new people. And that all comes down to asking questions and getting brave enough to ask questions when they're meeting people at different places. And the other thing is, when they set a goal, this is how many people I want to meet, and they hang on to that and they put that little visual up in several places, they will see this like shift in the universe and God put people in their place. Because the other thing that hopefully each of you believe and hold on to, and I am 90% sure on this one that you already do, that there's people who need you. They need your product. They need your opportunity. They need you as a person because of your talents and your empathy and your understanding. There's a lot of different reasons that there's people that need to meet you. And those people need to learn, okay, Bob, you feel like you've kind of dried out your warm market. Do you believe that there's people out there that you haven't met yet who need what you have? And it's a mind shift. It's an internal belief that has to change, that there's people that need you. I know Chrissy absolutely knows and believes. She has this amazing team of people, and they're very close and they're very connected, and they know that they need each other and needed to find each other. Were some of the people that are part of your team that are part of our call, Chrissy, are those people that you knew before Herbalife? Or are they people that you've kind of, some you knew and some you didn't, and you have different relationships with them now? Where did those people, where were they all found?
I only knew Adam they're all new people.
Okay.
So most of my team is someone that I've met through building my business and being intentional about getting out there.
Right. So Chrissy, I can tell you, she's a firm believer, and there's people who need her. And because she's just 100% open to that thought and that idea, she finds people. She's working very hard. I don't know if this is the area you were talking about, but I know she's working hard at finding people in Spokane. And she's very open to the thought that she's going to find those people who need her. It's a mindset. That's the thing. There are specific tools, and there's definitely specific ways that you talk to people, in my opinion, that are a little more effective than other ways. But it's much more of a mindset is the very first thing. I can teach you tools until hell freezes over. But until a mind shift is made that you are going to meet those people, I can teach you lots of tools, and people will just say, well, I did that and it didn't work. They have to believe that they're going to find those people. I know Jordan finds people, and then she gets referrals and her thing's grown. I know Janae, she's had some really good, effective things happen online, but it's because of her product. And it's a product that people use every day and you're familiar with. It's a little different with doTERRA when people don't understand quite what it is. You may find a couple curious people, but you're not going to necessarily do sales that way. But it can help at least spark some curiosity. But online stuff, or social media doesn't do sales. Social media sometimes helps to find people, but it doesn't actually sell for you. You still have to make that connection and that contact with people.
Right.
Okay. Like I said, the 90-day program will really help with that, Jim. It's kind of a bigger answer than I can give you in 5 minutes. But it's first the mind shift, it's first the setting goals, and then learning how to ask really good questions.
Right.
Does
Well,
that help
thank you.
a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Any other questions? Janae, how are you feeling about this?
Good. I'm excited to put some of this into practice. I have several people interested in becoming consultants with LuLaRoe, and then actually I have people now wanting to join my other team as well.
Awesome.
So I'm excited to put this into practice. I like the idea of a weekly team newsletter because I've been thinking, okay, how do I, my team is still pretty small, but it's like, I don't know how to keep in touch with all of them with everything I have going on
Right.
all
And
the
your
time.
people are spread out too.
Yes.
You're not going to have local team meetings. That's not how your group's at all.
Yeah.
So and if just go to Zoom, it's zoom.us. If your meeting is 40 minutes and shorter, it's free. If it's over 40 minutes and you have less than 25 people, it's only $10 a month. It's really cheap.
Nice.
So I would say start out with a weekly newsletter and at least one online meeting would be my suggestion for you.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm happy to do one, like help you with one, like do a goal setting one with you and then you do one on product, or we, do half and half, a little bit of goal setting and product knowledge or something like that. Okay.
Awesome.
So let me know if you need some help with that.
Okay.
Janae?
Yes.
I just wanted to tell you I have a Facebook page. It's a private secret group, and I keep the momentum up in there. I post encouraging thoughts and pictures almost every day. And I add people that are on my team to that group, but it's it's lower maintenance than a weekly newsletter because I'm not structurally like putting in specific content or trying to find a format. And that works really well, but that also opens it up for them to post, their encouragements. And I tell them, I predefine the group settings. This is a positive environment. You can post your celebrations. You can post your new team members, definitely invite them all to that page, but don't be negative in that group. If you have something to talk about, you talk about that with me. And that works really well. I have 70 people in that online group, and I've invited a few of my mentors in my business to join that page so they can see what I'm doing or occasionally post encouraging comments as well. So that works really well. And that's super fast and easy because I can do that anywhere from my phone if I have like a 2-minute window block to post something there.
That's a great idea.
I like that one.
So make sure that's a group, not a page. The page, not everybody will see your stuff, where the group is.
Yeah.
So make sure it's a group. Yeah. I don't know a ton about it, but I know Google Plus has some great ways to do groups too. And I'd really like to learn more about those because I really like how Google Plus works more. The problem is more people are on Facebook. So to me, it's a matter of kind of shifting how people do things. But I like Google Plus. But it's one of those things, people don't seem to check Google Plus as frequently as they do Facebook. So it's kind of redefining your culture with the people that you work with by doing that. So anyway, but it's just kind of interesting. I mean, there's lots of different ways to do it. Thank you for that tidbit. That's awesome, Christy. Am I on that one?
No.
Okay. All right. So super. Any other thoughts or questions? You guys have been a wealth of information this morning. Okay, awesome. So we'll chat again next week. I'm super excited. Would any of you like some follow-up with this week on the activities that you've been given?
I would like the tracker, like the 2 trackers that you sent or that you talked about today, and then Wednesday, if you want to follow up with me Wednesday.
Okay, super, will do. Anybody else? Would anybody else like a text or a call or an email sometime this week to follow up on the assignment?
Well, and Michelle, I'd be interested in those trackers as well.
Okay.
And then I'm trying to think. If you could maybe follow up with me on, I'm trying to think what my schedule is. Probably Wednesday.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, before the 4th.
Yeah.
Guess that's Friday though, huh? Yeah. Okay, anyone else?
If you could send those trackers to me, that would be awesome.
Will do, Jordan. No problem. Would you like a follow-up this week, Jordan?
Sure, Wednesday would actually work
Okay.
best for me.
Okay. So if I sent you all a text and you just kind of send me back how it's going, or do you want more of a phone call, like time to chat? What kind of follow-up would you like to have?
If you want to text me first, and then I can just with a couple of good times to call you back, because I would like to chat, not for, ever. I know you're really busy, but just to kind of talk about some individual things.
Okay, sounds great.
Yeah, same here.
Okay, Janae? Okay, awesome. All right, any other thoughts or questions or follow-ups? Okay, have an amazing week. We'll be chatting with most of you on Wednesday. Thank you for being on the call. I'm excited to see your teams grow, because it's an awesome feeling to have your business grow and see other people grow. It's a win-win situation. It's so much fun. So be sure and get those goals down, and I'll send you out those trackers today. All right, have a good one. Thank you.